removes the background. And also think about what's in the background, like all these computers are there, and that's an okay background. Now I might do it the other way, facing this way, so we have the window light, but since there's a big black curtain on that, that's okay.
But you don't want to shoot
directly
into a window.
Like you wouldn't want to shoot this way with the window behind, because then they'll be all dark and you don't want that. So if I was doing it in this room, I would probably set up here, and I'd just take a couple of chairs. And don't be afraid to move stuff around. I mean, you can ask permission, but I tend to move stuff around in people's houses. Okay, so for the interview E, you want to have the camera basically over one of their shoulders. It doesn't matter which shoulder, but you want the camera directly over their shoulder. Okay, so this would be the interview E. And then...
Now this is generally if you have two people working on an interview, okay? They're mostly going to do it themselves.
Okay, and I can...
So we'll do both. We'll do...
Well, honestly, when I do an interview myself, I tend to still set it up this way. Unless it's important that I need to move the camera a lot, which you can decide that for yourself if you feel like you need to have different shots of the person. Because I tend to... It's really kind of awkward someone sitting down looking at someone standing up. One, for the shot, because you can tell they're looking up. And two, it's just not really a natural way to talk to somebody. So what I'll do is I'll still set this up. I might set it up like this, where I can still control the camera. These newer cameras are very nice because they have a new viewfinder right here, so I can still be looking at the person, talking to them, and you want them talking to you, not the camera. And I can still control it. I can still move the camera, and that kind of is distracting to the person, because usually when you have two people, I can be messing with the camera and they're talking to the reporter, they're not paying attention to me. So, but if you have to do it by yourself, try to minimize messing with the camera if you can. So, leave it like this because that's what I want. So.
Okay, Ceci and Cassie. Ceci and Cassie. Okay, so you're doing the interview. So you said, are you doing the interview? Or you're being interviewed? You're being interviewed. Okay.
Okay. Now, I've already made one fundamental mistake. And you see that shot? I wish we could put this on the screen somehow, but he's a pretty tall guy, so I'm kind of shooting it up at him. You want to avoid that if you can. So we should. Raise this up a little bit. No, that's not a very safe way to do it. But normally you get down there and actually raise the legs up. But okay. And then slide as close to the camera as you can. Because if you were by yourself, you'd need to be on the camera. So. And then what I like to do is make sure it's focused, and the lighting's right, and the mic works, and everything is, ready to go, because there's nothing worse than in the middle of the interview having to stop and, I gotta fix something. That just, it kills like the whole momentum of it. So.
But do you have your shot framed up?
Yeah.
Okay, because why don't you guys go look at how he's got it framed up.
You don't have to do that. I can record this a little bit, and then you can see it. Now, for the first shot of an interview, I tend to start a little wider, okay? Because you're not going to, depending on what the story is, you're not going to ask the tough questions right after that. So, you're going to say, how's it going? What's your day been like? Tell me about, about this. And then, when you're going to ask the tough question, that's when you want to maybe be a little bit tighter. This is when he's going to say, yeah, I killed the guy with an axe. There you go.
Or even if you're doing the nice profile piece,
Yeah.
still you want to try to warm them up a little bit. Like the singers, they don't just start singing, they warm up, right? So it's kind of the same thing where you're just kind of getting people comfortable, just kind of just regular chit chat about the weather, the Brewers, whatever it is, and then you kind of get into the interview because then they're just a little bit more relaxed that way.
And then you go through the interview and you can change the shot a little bit. Sometimes for editing, it helps a little bit if you have different shots. Like you may even want a wide shot if you're talking about something way in the background. You may want to say, all these computers are terrible.
I'm shooting this for a student who's not here. That's why.
Oh, okay. All these computers at Stritch bought are terrible. They're, they stink. They should get rid of all of them. So, you could see all these behind him, And another thing too, I know we're not doing a real interview, but is you want to remind the person to just stay sitting in their chair and looking at the reporter, or you, or whoever. Don't ever look directly at the camera.